What's Captain think? He's got a very short video here about ascendancies. I'm curious what he thinks about
Exiles. Let's
ascendancies.
talk bloodline ascendancies. Probably one of the coolest additions towards build creativity possibilities that we've had in a long time.
Do you have any ideas?
Let me regale you a probably familiar story that you've had yourself. For me, there's sometimes these situations where you think about playing an ascendancy and you go, okay, my first lab, awesome. My second lab, awesome. My third lab, my fourth lab's basically useless for the thing I want to play. And then you shelve the idea. For an example, for me, I look at Glad and I say, these block nodes are awesome to build around, but then afterwards I go, oh, I don't really want to play Fizz Dot. I don't really want to play Retaliation.
Yeah.
This node, I don't want to wait 100 seconds to kill a boss. I'd rather make sure my DPS is good enough I kill the boss in a few seconds. And then this node just sucks, and I say, you know what? I'm not going to play Glad. Well,
yeah, true.
Bloodline ascendancies are a big solution to this problem because they give ascendancies which have some really strong specific power that maybe doesn't pair with the rest of the ascendancy and the idea you want to do, and it opens up some flexibility there. The biggest examples I see, if I'm going to point through some obvious ones, are Gladiator with the block nodes is a really big one. I could see an example where, let's say you want to play an Occultist, but you don't really want to min-max into Curses, Chaos, or Cold. These nodes, Vile Bastion, Forbidden Bower, extremely strong on their own rights. Maybe if you had a little bit of extra other options that aren't this, it would go great. Or maybe Elementalist, you just want to take the carry Golem node, which, by the way, is still insane. That nerf they did, pretty justified. I didn't think they were going to nerf it, to be honest, but it's still insane. And maybe you want the good shocks, and then the other stuff doesn't benefit you too much. You get this flexibility. Any ascendancy that has a second or third really strong choice, but the fourth choice kind of falls off, this is insane for. Another example I could think of is, like, let's say E-Blade. Righteous Providence and Battle Mage are heavy carry ascendancy points on my E-Blade guide, but the extra points after that aren't too strong. If you get some flexibility to go for some other options, it could be extremely powerful. Another good example is, let's say you wanted to play an attack mana-based Hyro, but you don't want to play totems. All of a sudden, you only have 3 ascendancy points. Your fourth lab just doesn't do anything for you. This opens up for you a lot of possibilities. Maybe you want to play poison without the crit stuff. Well, there's only 4 points on Assassin that are poison related, and the other crit stuff isn't too irrelevant if you wanted to play non-crit. Perfect Agony is good though, so you probably should play the Perfect Agony angle, I think, at least. That's the point I'm trying to make. There's some really strong possibilities. Another really great example is Scion.
I never
really
played
big power
Scion
boost from this because Scion doesn't have that much opportunity cost. You can still click 2 sub-ascendancies, and then all you lose is 3 passive points in the starting location. Pretty much every time I play a Scion, I usually end up being connected to the center wheel anyways. It's usually the best pathing wise. So that's trading 3 passive points for an actual big ascendancy node. That gets pretty impactful. All in all, this change has me more excited for PoE than I have been in a long time. I really like each PoE League when they come out, but this one is a 10 out of 10 in terms of it just opens up so many possibilities for things you.
Yeah, okay. Am I a fucking idiot, or does the extra ring not seem near as good in PoE 1 as it is in PoE 2? In PoE 2, you straight up get it for ascendancy points. This one, it costs ascendancy points, but also has a massive. You have a massive downside. I don't know, man. Yeah, but it's any class. Yeah, I get that. You're right about that. But, like, you literally lose an amulet or a belt? Holy, dude. People will find a way to make it busted like always. I mean, you're right. They'll find a cog ring or something. Make it crazy. But there will be a specific use for it for sure. I'm just saying, like, as compared to PoE 2, where an extra ring is, like, just insane. Like, this seems pretty rough. No aiming for start's okay because you get curse immune. Or you get unaffected by bleeding, which is kind of nice, right? But yeah, I don't know. This one seemed way more rough to me than I would have thought.
You can do. For example, one of the ones I'm most excited about is Shepherd of Souls. If you remember Phorecia League, if you played Phorecia League, I really liked Shepherd of Souls because it enables you to play close to permanent Val skill uptime on things like Val Cold Snap or Val Righteous Fire. I was already interested in playing Righteous Fire Elementalist, and this might give me an incentive to do so even more now. I'm hoping over the next few days they give us more teasers of these possible ascendancies.
Like this one, the Sacrifice of Blood is really fucking awesome. And then the full energy shield plus 5 res. This looks curious to me. Like, okay, run this here. But you have to corrupt 8, which means you got to corrupt fucking everything.
It gets your mind rolling in terms of things you could do or create with these. Right now, one of the ones I'm most excited about is definitely doing Val Righteous Fire, but I could see quite a few other options being interesting as well. One of the funny examples here I'm thinking of is this Rage node. Let's say I'm a Wander or a bow build. Often it's a bit hard to get Rage, especially if your glove slot needs to be something else. Let's give you an example. Let's say I'm playing a champion and I want to play the Fortified Gloves late game, but if I do that, I have pretty much no access point for a bow or a Wander to get Rage on hit. The small node here gives Rage on hit, which by itself could be worth the points if your 3rd or 4th champion lab isn't too good. There's things like that that are pretty interesting to think about in terms of possibilities. And a lot of these small points, look through them, they are quite interesting in terms of things they offer. So, I mean, obviously these ones have some massive downsides you have to decide because the ring slot ascendancy point is just ridiculous, but you get the idea. All in all, I'd say take a second look at ascendancies you haven't considered before that had somewhat strong ascendancy points for about 2 or 3 nodes, because those ascendancies I think are moving up a tier compared to the ascendancies where you'd pick them because they have 4 good nodes to choose. If there's an ascendancy that has 3 really good nodes, but 1 lackluster one, chances are between these 10 bloodline ascendancies, there's going to be a...
I don't know why, but I keep coming back to wanting to start Viper Strike of the Mamba. Like, I really like that build, but then you have to play Pathfinder for it on if you're going to League start it. But Viper Strike of the Mamba sounds like a kind of a fun build to start.
Really critically good node to click on whatever build you're trying to play. That's all pretty much my main takeaway. Most excited thing I am about the patch notes and things they changed here. And today I'll be going over and doing some theory crafting more in depth on stuff, but this is just the thing I find the most interesting. So that's what I wanted to highlight today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. As always, take care and peace out. Have a good one, Exiles, and happy theory crafting, guys.
What did he say about the vortex changes? So he said he took a peek at it. Not sure exactly how much of the effect will probably be too hard to figure out for sure without having the actual change. It's definitely going to be a damage loss for both clear and single target. Mike Brick Spell Echo. So it's a pretty bit. It sounds like it's a pretty solid hit. Sounds like it's a pretty solid hit to the build for real. On God, no cap.